2023, organized by the Commerce Club of Department of Commerce, University of Kerala. The Union Budget 2022-23 was presented in the Parliament on 1st February this year by the Union Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman. The budget focused on investment, infrastructure, economic growth, and jobs. It provided for shaping the digital ecosystem of the country, including technology in aspects like agriculture. Here, the Commerce Club of our department is organizing a detailed analysis and discussions on the Union Budget 2022-23. The analysis is done with due regard to sectoral heads which have an impact on the economy as well as the industry. So once again, I welcome all the teachers, scholars, and students of our department to the post-budget analysis session. To inaugurate the event and to give a brief introduction about the session, I invite Professor Gabriel Simon Thattil, Head and Dean Faculty of Department of Commerce, University of Kerala. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Pooja, and very good evening to one and all. My colleagues in the department, Professor Rasya, Professor Raju, Professor Hari, Dr. Biju Teeb, Dr. Biju AV, other research scholars, postdoctoral fellows, students. Indeed, this is an exercise where we are trying to look at two things. One, your basic skill, initiative, and interest in doing some kind of an analysis, some kind of an introspection into a policy document. The budget is a policy document, which all of us knows, which it talks about what is in stock for us for the year ahead. So there could be many things in the budget which remains as solid database for facts and observations to come and things to be done in the coming year. And there could be certain things which are perhaps initially planned tall but not fully executed. So a budget is a plan of action, what we would like to have for the year ahead. Now, this is something which all of us know. And why it is so important for those who are in commerce, because it has got something to do with the curriculum that we have and the opportunities that we have. So that is a second and most important thing. If you look at business environment for both MCOM Finance as well as for MCOM GBO, and even for MCOM Rural Management, and very much so for MCOM Blue Economy, there is definitely lots and lots of things which the budget is actually unfolding before them in terms of capital expenditure, in terms of infrastructure, in terms of foreign trade, in terms of welfare for the common man, in terms of taxation, both direct and indirect. So there are lots of things which actually comes up over there. This is not just in terms of academics. It's also in terms of looking at opportunities. Because if you look at opportunities for startups, opportunities for entrepreneurship, the right ecosystem that we are looking into, the possible changes that will happen in the future course of business are all things which we are actually talking about. So this is the dimensions in which we are looking at the budget. And for us, it's like it should be a learning exercise where we go deep into data, where we go deep into facts and policies and try to see how, what this will mean for the country, what will this will mean for a state like Kerala, and what this will mean for maybe a person like me and you. So this is how we are trying to look at the budget. So I'm happy to be a part of this exercise, because earlier we used to have an expert presentation alone. But beyond an expert presentation, we also need to look at our own ways and means to involve in this. So we are having this exercise for 3 days, and we will have a presentation by CA Bijoy, at the end of this, on the fourth day, that is 12th, which will be an expert presentation. And that is how we are trying to unfold this whole event. So I hope all of you will put your minds and brains together into this event, because we have already sat together, thought together, and tried to put matter in together. So there, that has to get reflected in what you're going to actually present. So it is this idea that we had in mind when we are trying to look at your potential, your capability, to put it in your own way. What actually is the data? Because as we said earlier, there is always something in it which is mere facts. It is similar to like what we do in the case of a case study. ഒരു കേസ് സ്റ്റഡിയിൽ എപ്പോഴും കുറെ ഫാക്ട്സ് ഓഫ് ദ കേസ് കാണും. അപ്പോൾ അവിടെ there is what is said. So I'm saying budget says this much percentage increase in capital expenditure. Budget talks about GST in this form. Budget says there is no change in the tax slab. So what the budget says as given. അപ്പം അങ്ങനെ there are some facts. രണ്ടാമത്തെ ഭാഗം there is some analysis. There is some analysis that you look at the trend, what happened in the past, what is likely to happen in the future, based on facts and figures. And മൂന്നാമത്തെ ഭാഗം is your views, how you infer, how you interpret, how you judge. അങ്ങനെയുള്ള കാര്യങ്ങളാണ് വരുന്നത്. അപ്പോൾ ഈ മൂന്ന് ഭാഗങ്ങൾ ചേർത്താണ് നമ്മൾ ശരിക്കും പറഞ്ഞാൽ ബജറ്റിനെ മാത്രമല്ല, നമ്മൾ പഠിക്കുന്ന എല്ലാ മോഡ്യൂളും, നമ്മൾ പഠിക്കുന്ന എല്ലാ തിയറികളും അങ്ങനെയാണ് നമ്മൾ ആക്ച്വലി കാണേണ്ടത്. ബിക്കോസ് there will always be in it certain things which might be very relevant, but that relevance might come in one context at one point of time, or it might always be relevant. There would be certain other things which might not have the same type of relevance which was existing at one point of time. അപ്പം അങ്ങനെ നമ്മൾ ക്യാപിറ്റൽ സ്ട്രക്ചർ തിയറീസ് നോക്കിയാലും, when you look at dividend theories നോക്കിയാലും, when we look at perfect market theories നോക്കിയാലും, efficient market hypothesis നോക്കിയാലും, capital asset pricing model നോക്കിയാലും, in all these things, or even in HR, when we say motivational theories, or when we talk about pricing theories in marketing, ഇവിടെയൊക്കെ നമ്മൾ കാണുന്നത് there is an element in it which is the factual element, and there is an element in which you're trying to look at its futuristic base. അപ്പോൾ essentially അതിന് ഒരു historical perspective ഉണ്ട്, which is the past, which is the evolution, and there is a futuristic perspective which we are trying to look at, which we are trying to examine with a bend of mind. So I'm very happy to be a part of this. With your consent and with your blessings, of all the teachers, scholars together, I, with great pleasure, declare this budget analysis session as inaugurated and open. Now, we all know that it is a in-house event, so there's not much of a need for huge formalities. But let us all see that we make this in-house event as something which gives lots of learning, lots of food for thought, lots of future base to learn more. So wishing all the presenters the very best, because today we have the research scholars and the MPhil scholars presenting. So wishing all of you the very best, and I hope all of you will involve yourself in this process, and we have something as a solid outcome to talk about at the end of this whole presentation. So thank you so much for this opportunity, and wish you the very best of your learning through this exercise. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Simon sir. Now, without further delay, we are moving on to the group presentations. Today, 2 groups will be presenting here, and the time allotted for each group is a total of 35 minutes, out of which 25 minutes is for the presentation and 10 minutes for discussion. So all presenters are requested to strictly keep your presentation within the time limit. And I request all other participants to mute your audio at the time of presenting. So let's start the analysis session, and I wish all the participants good luck for your presentation. Firstly, I invite the panelists of the first group, Prasida S.J., Sunita Nair A., Aparna A.S., Kavya Shabu, Gopika C.G., Arun V., and Rennie Susan Philip, to present their analysis on investment opportunities and Indian financial system. over to the presenters.
I'd also request the presenters, the first person speaking, to introduce the others with the theme on which they're going to speak. Prasida is going to speak on this, and Sunita is going to speak on this. So after that, you can start off with the presentation. Yeah.
A very good evening to all. Is my window visible?
Yes. It's visible.
Thank you. Myself, Kavya Shabu, and we are here to present the topic investment opportunities and financial system. I would be taking you through the overview of budget for financial year 2022 and green bonds and disinvestment at a glance. And then Miss Gopika would then take over to give an insight into digital currency. And finally, Mrs. Sunita would be concluding the session after discussing about cryptocurrency. So moving on to the budget analysis of 2022. About the budget, it was the shortest budget that has been taken place by our finance minister, Nirmala
Can you make
Sitharaman.
it in a screen sharing option? Full screen sharing.
I am sharing my full screen.
No, it's the PowerPoint is not in the.
Is the slide changing?
Yeah, it is better if it do it in the slideshow mode.
It's not changing. Now it is changing, but it's not in slideshow.
Okay. 1 minute, please. This year's budget is mostly investment-led and futuristic budget. It lays down a plan for the next 25 years and refers to the same as a period of Amrit Kal. So for the 75th year was celebrated as Amrit Mahotsav. Now they are seeing the next period as Amrit Kal, a visionary mission. Then we have India's economic growth in the current year 2021-22 is estimated to be 9.2% of GDP as per the statistical report, the highest among all the large economies. The major takeaways of this budget was the goal is complementing macro growth with micro all-inclusive welfare, digital economy and fintech, tech-enabled development, energy transition and climate action. Then we have about the ECLGS cover, which has been expanded from 50,000 to 5 lakh crore. Then the productivity linked incentive schemes, the PLI schemes in 14 sectors has received excellent response, received investments intention worth rupees 30 lakh crore. Economic recovery benefiting from the public investment and capital spending. This budget will provide impetus to growth. Now, moving on to Amrit Kal, there are 4 priority areas that has been focused on to. The first one we have is the PM Gati Shakti. Gati means way, and it mainly encompasses to 7 engines. That is the 7 ways of road, railway, airport, the same way, waterways, etc. So, bringing in a unified logistic interface platform, multi-modal logistic parks, one station, one product, and Parvatmala, another project, which is to connecting mountains using ropeway projects. Then we have inclusive growth. This is to include all sectors, health, agriculture, education, etc. together for the growth. We have the third focus area as productivity enhancement and investment, sunrise opportunities, energy transition, and climate action. And the fourth and final one is financing of investments. We would be going into detail. Now, the goals of Amrit Kal is mainly first, we have 3 goals. First one is to focus on growth and all-inclusive welfare, promoting technology-enabled development, energy transition, and climate action. And third, we have virtuous cycle, starting from private investment crowded by public capital investment. Now, moving on to the virtuous cycle, economic cycle. First, we have higher public investment in capital expenditure. This means that if we increase the if India is increasing the capital expenditure, it would eventually result in increasing the private investment, that is crowd and private investment. That would lead to more job opportunities, and the highlight over here is they are looking forward to an inclusive growth, and thus it would result in higher GDP growth and exports, and it would in turn result in rise in income, and finally higher consumption expenditure. In an overall emphasis, overall look, when we take into consideration, we can see that the capital expenditure this year's budget, we can see that it has been expanded to by 34.5 percentage, that is from 5.54 lakh crore to 7.5 lakh crore. And in the financial year of 2023 also, they are giving a higher estimate for, or looking up to 10.7 lakh crores to increase their capital expenditure in order to come to this whole cycle. Now, the key areas that has been identified as the increase in capex, as I had mentioned before, green bonds, disinvestment, taxation of virtual digital asset, and digital currency. Now, moving on to financing of investment, RBI will introduce digital currency this financial year, the coming financial year itself. And we have the green bonds to mobilize resources for green infrastructure. Then we have the blended finance for sunrise sector, that has the projects which are in the infant stages but has high potential for growth, which are climate action, deep tech, digital economy, pharma, and agri-tech. Then we have the infrastructure status for data centers and energy storage systems. These are also given high importance during this financial budget year, including dense charging infrastructure and grid scale battery system. Now, increase in capex, as I had mentioned before, this is just an overview of it. Now, moving on to the next one, we have green bonds. Now, green bond is would obviously, the word green is always related to sustainable development or environmental finance. So, a green bond is a fixed income instrument designed specifically to support specific climate related or environmental projects. Green bonds may come with tax incentives to enhance their attractiveness to investors. This is the main reason that the corporates fall into green bonds. Then the World Bank is a major issuer of green bonds. It has issued 164 such bonds in 2008, worth a combined amount of $14.4 billion. And as per the reports, India has surpassed 16.3 billion of green bonds being issued in 2020, and global sustainable bonds has risen from $650 billion dollars in 2021. Now, the downsides of green bonds are it is not cheap. It comes in a higher chunk of amount. So, green bonds are being issued at a very large amount. This is mostly a fungible model. That is, it could be used only for the specific purpose that it has been specified already that the bonds are being issued. So, it could be highly pricey. It would relate according to the situation. Then we have combination of promises may not end up right. This means from the end of the bond issuer and the one who receives the one who takes the bonds, so they might be expecting higher return, or they might be expecting higher impact on environment. We do not know what promises would not be fulfilled or what could be capable of being fulfilled. Then we also have a difficulty in impact identification. Environmental impact and how much carbon is being emitted and how much carbon reduction is made is a very hefty and very hard calculation to be made. So the impact identification is also quite difficult. Then we have disinvestment. It simply means stake sale of PSU, the public other sector undertaking. The central government has lowered the disinvestment target to 65,000 crore this year. The center has planned major disinvestment and strategic sale of Air India, BPCL, public sector banks, and other insurance companies among these for the coming year. Last year, we had seen the LIC being listed in the IPO, and a few banks being under public sector undertakings being listed in the stock market as a part of disinvestment. Now, the merits are mainly it could obtain obtain release of large amount of public undertakings under the purview of private control, then fostering competition, facilitate transferring of commercial risk to consumers. This might not be a merit in the view of final users, but it is a merit seeing that development from the corporate sector. Now, increase in economic activity and wider wealth distribution are the other merits. Now, moving on to the demerits, the problem of price, opposition of employees who are already employed over there, the interdependence of government, and high cost economy. With this, my slide is concluding, and I hand over the session to Gopika. Thank you.
Thank you, Kavya.
Hello? Gopika?
Yeah, you're audible. You can present. You can present.
Gopika?
Yes, wait, I am uploading the slide. Part of introduction of digital currency in the Union Budget 2022-23. As Kavya had mentioned earlier, it is an important part of the investment opportunity which will strengthen the financial system of the country. RBI had in July 2021 will give an indication that it would soon begin the work on the phased implementation of CBDC. CBDC stands for Central Bank Digital Currency, and it will give the clear indication that India to join the countries with the digital currency. After that, the first official statement by the Union government regarding the introduction of much awaited digital currency has been happened in the Union Budget 2022-23 through the announcement of Financial Minister Nirmala Sitharaman. And the RBI will launch digital rupee in the financial, as per the budget, RBI will launch the digital rupee in the financial year 2022-23. Coming to the part that what is central bank digital currency? Just like physical currency, central bank digital currency is a legal tender equivalent to physical cash issued by the central bank. It is just like physical cash, except that it would exist in the digital form. Actually, central bank digital currency is held in a digital wallet, which is supervised by the RBI, and all other features will be just similar to physical currency in terms of its transactions and medium of exchange, all that. And digital currencies works on the technology of blockchain. It is works on the blockchain technology. Then coming to the overview of digital currency or the global view of digital currency at a glance. As per the data of Atlantic Council, or as per the present statistics of the Atlantic Council, presently 91 countries shown interest towards the introduction of digital currency in the respective countries. Among these 91 countries, 9 countries were actually officially launched digital currency in their country, and 14 countries were under the stage of pilot study regarding the implementation of digital currency in their country, and remaining 17 countries were in the development stage, and another 14 among 91 countries, 40 countries were in the research and developmental activities for the introduction of digital currency. Research and developmental activities constitutes that economic feasibility as well as the technical feasibility for the introduction of digital currency in their respective countries. Then among 91 countries, 7 countries were introduced digital currency, but as per the present status is concerned, that countries' status is that the digital currencies were inactive in their countries. Then 2 countries, after the introduction, they will cancel their digital currency or ban the digital currency in their country. Then coming to the part of features of digital currency or characteristics of digital currency, which will separate it from central bank digital currency, which will separate it from the other digital currencies, including cryptocurrencies. Digital currencies only exist in electronic form or digital form. It does not require any intermediaries, and it is treated as of an cheapest method for trading currencies, or it is considered as a cheapest or simplified method for medium of exchange of transactions. And it offers or it facilitates seamless transfer of value and can make transaction costs cheaper. And one of the important advantage or relevance is that it is easily traceable. Why it is easily traceable? Because it works on the technology of blockchain. That is why when compared with the compared with the physical currency, it is easily traceable. Difference between central bank digital currencies and cryptocurrencies. And one of the important thing is that all cryptocurrencies are digital currencies, but not all digital currencies are cryptocurrencies. Why not all digital currencies are cryptocurrencies is that cryptocurrencies have certain unique features, including decentralization and all. It will separate the cryptocurrencies from the central bank backed digital currencies. And another important difference is that cryptos have no fundamental value, but CBDCs has, or CBDCs have fundamental value or intrinsic value. And another one is that cryptos are decentralized, but CBDC is centralized. Cryptos are decentralized and anyone can make cryptos and make trading on cryptos. But CBDC is not like that. It is centralized and strongly backed by the central bank of the country. Digital currencies can be exchanged for cash. This is happened through that digital currency is just like physical currency, and it is used as a medium of exchange for financial transactions. But cryptocurrencies does not use treated as a medium of exchange for transaction, because our central bank does not consider cryptocurrency as a currency. Central bank consider cryptocurrency as a digital asset or a virtual asset for investment, not as a currency. Then cryptocurrencies were highly volatile. As we have already mentioned that cryptocurrencies are highly volatile in its aspect that, and these volatility may create financial stress among investors. This is not happen in the case of digital currencies, because digital currency is just a medium of exchange for transaction, not an investment opportunity. Then coming to the part that how introduction of digital currency will strengthen the financial system of the country. Digital currency and its introduction may simplify the implementation of fiscal and monetary policy. Fiscal policy by the central government and the monetary policy by the central bank will be strongly backed by the simplified measure called digital currency, and introduction of digital currency may simplify the implementation of fiscal policy by the central government and monetary policy by the central bank. Then digital currency will promote financial inclusion, and thereby it strengthen the financial system. It promotes financial inclusion by bringing back the unbanked community who does not have access to any kind of financial services. Through the introduction of digital currency, these unbanked community will be bringing back to the financial system. Thereby it will strengthen the financial system of the nation. Then when another important aspect is that it will give big boost to digital economy, or in other words, digital currencies act as a catalyst towards the transformation of the country towards cashless economy. Then it decreased the cost in cross-border transaction, because digital currency is a universally acceptable one. So it decreased the cost in cross-border transactions as far as the physical currency is concerned. Then digital currency encourage economic growth through promoting financial equality. How it promote financial equality is that it is universally acceptable, and unbanked. It does not work on any kind of bank accounts, and the financial inclusion may leads to financial equality, and this financial equality may directly contribute to the economic growth. Then through the introduction of the digital currency, an efficient currency management system of the country will be a reality. Then with the opportunities or with the advantages, parallelly digital currency is not free from threats or challenges. Just like any other digital medium, digital currency is also a digitally platformed instrument. So it is not free from cybersecurity risk or cybersecurity threats. So the main important challenge or main challenge faced by the country during the implementation of digital currency is that the cybersecurity risk and the implementation of measures to prevent that risk. Then another important challenge is that the development of unique regulations or development of specific regulations for the implementation of digital currency. And one of the important challenge or one of the important aspect which will comes as a challenge for the government is that when digital currency is actually implemented, and if it is popular after the implementation, gained popularity of the digital currency may leads to the withdrawing of large amount of money by the investors, or the withdrawing of large amount of money from the demand deposits by the investors for converting into digital currency. This large withdrawal of amount from the demand deposit by the investors may affect the lending capacity of the banks. This is all about my presentation. To sum up, CBDCs will have a far-reaching implications on the future of finance, including the buying and selling of digital assets and securities. But the question is that when we implement these digital currencies to actually gain this the advantages and overcome these challenges. The question is when actually we will implement digital currency, or when actually we will convert this announcement to an implementation. This is all about my area, and over to Sunita Chechi for presenting VDA implementation of VDA and taxation and implementation of and its influence on the financial system. VDA and taxation and its implementation of financial system. Sunita Chechi is going to present. Over to Sunita Chechi. Thank you.
My PPT is visible to you all.
You can put it in the slideshow.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, fine. You can start.
Yeah. So in this today's session, actually, we have gone through an overview which has been briefed by Kavya, and something on, digital currency and introduction of digital currency by Gopika. So the topic that I'm going to take today is virtual digital asset, the taxation and the impact in Indian financial system. So this is a new thing which has been, the taxation of virtual digital asset is a new thing which has been introduced in this year's budget. So how it works and the taxation and everything is what is being discussed today. So what are virtual digital assets? So what all come under the purview of virtual digital assets? So these are the things which actually come under the purview of virtual digital asset. One is cryptocurrency, another one is non-fungible token, and any other digital asset as a central government may by notification and official gazette. So what is a cryptocurrency? So cryptocurrency is actually a digital currency which uses cryptography to secure transactions using blockchain technology. Unlike a regular currency which is managed by a central bank or a central regulatory authority, this is not. This is actually a totally decentralized kind of a mechanism which is run by cryptocurrencies, and it uses something called as ASIC, which is actually a huge investment which goes under mining, and this is a machine which is used to mine cryptocurrency. So huge investment goes behind this cryptocurrency. So this comes under the purview of virtual digital asset, which is subjected to taxation from this year onwards. Next one is non-fungible token or any other token of similar nature. So non-fungible tokens are unique digital tokens that serve as proof of ownership of an asset and cannot be replicated. In layman language, suppose someone has got a precious painting or something, and he can actually convert it into a digital asset and trade it over the exchange. That is how an NFT works. So NFTs are also subject to taxation from this year onwards, and any other digital asset as a central government may by notification in the official ledger. So these are the things which come under the virtual digital assets. So what is the taxation on virtual digital assets? Any income generated from transfer of virtual digital assets will be taxed at 30%. TDS of 1% will be paid by the buyer or exchange. There will be no deductions or offsets allowed. Like in case of if you have a property and you sell it off, while calculating the capital gains, you are allowed to deduct certain investments.
Simon sir, as per the rule, we have given 25 minutes. The 25 minutes is completed right now.
No,
So
let them. It's okay. Let them extend.
Yeah, 5 minutes more.
5 minutes. Yeah.
So no deductions or offsets are available. So unlike in case of real estate investment, wherein when you calculate capital gains, you can actually reduce the capital gains to the extent of whatever renovations or modifications done on that and reduce the tax liability. Here there are no deductions allowed, and even you can't offset it with any other asset classes. and there will be no carry forward of losses to the subsequent assessment years. So if you are incurring loss this year, you have to write it off this year itself. You can't carry it forward to the subsequent years. It's treated same like a speculative activity. So this is about the taxation of equity shares. Most of us know about it. So it comes under capital gains. There are two types of capital gains: short-term and long-term. Anything less than 1 year is short-term, and anything above 1 year is long-term. So short-term, the capital gains tax is 15%, and long-term it is 10%. So, and there is a possibility of set-off and carry forward an equity investment. So this shows a comparison. This particularly an illustration which shows how a burdened crypto investor is vis-a-vis an equity investor, wherein which if you look at the calculation, if a crypto investor is getting 25%, do you want me to explain this, sir? Because due to time constraint, I guess it's better to skip these slides, right, sir?
Yeah, you can just skip it here, because those who want, you can share that slide. Yeah.
Okay. So what? So you've got to know about the VDA. So what are the positive impact that the VDAs can bring into this financial system? One is Indians collectively own more than $12 billion worth of cryptos in the world market, and more than 10 crore people in India are now actively trading in cryptos. So we are the highest in number in the world. So chances of people switching in from crypto to stock market because of the taxation burden can boost up the growth of financial markets. So people can, because of the tax burden, they can actually switch from cryptos to stock market. So that will boost up the growth of the financial markets. And taxation of crypto will reduce investors to fear about legal issues. It's a kind of regulation and will attract new investors. Because cryptocurrencies, had been brought into our taxation radar, people will have a feeling that this is a safe and legal kind of a thing, and more people will, start inquiring about it and start investing into it, and such thing will also generate more income for the government in terms of taxation. As a new source of income, this source will enable increased capital formation and thereby economic development, and will further strengthen our financial system. With NFTs as a new source of income through digitalization of assets, through digitalization of asset, more trading will take place. Like for instance, if you look at the current scenario, most of the youngsters are migrating to other countries. So they are leaving their parents, grandparents, whatever possessions that they have in India. For if suppose they are having some precious possessions, they can actually digitalize it and trade it, and thereby create more value for the asset, and thereby the government will also be benefited. So this is NFT is a new source of income for the government as well. So these are the negative impacts of the taxation on VDA in the financial system. Some serious traders of crypto can migrate to some other countries having no tax. This can happen in case of NRIs who are working in some other country, if they can actually migrate the entire crypto that they hold in India to some other country which has no tax. And due to tax burden, potentiality of crypto as a hedging tool is reduced. Due to high tax, there are chances of switching from crypto to any other asset classes that will impact the volume and price of crypto adversely, which I've already mentioned. Because of high tax burden, people can switch crypto to any other asset classes. These are some of the things which are still unclear, which has been mentioned under gray area. Set off of loss from one VDA to gain from another VDA. It has been said that we cannot set it off against any other asset classes, but it has not been mentioned whether we can set off the loss from one VDA to the gain from another VDA. Then expenses relating to creation and mining of VDA, that is not as a meager expense, it's a huge expense. So that also has to be looked into by the government, because somebody is investing in crypto and using those machineries to mine the crypto, it's not a cheap affair. So that also has to be looked into. That has not been mentioned here. Selling VDA to non-resident and its TDS, especially NRO investments in VDA, and the taxation of the TDS on NRO investment, that is actually not a clear area right now. Gifting of VDA to non-residents is also another gray area. Transactions relating from crypto to crypto. If you're buying transactions, there are certain websites which will allow you to buy, commodity, certain things from with the help of, if you have crypto, you can actually buy it online. So that is also another gray area. This chart shows the reaction of the market after the budget when the taxation was announced. So this is a comparison between Nifty 50 and CMC Crypto 200 index. That is actually CMC Crypto 200 index is registered with NASDAQ. Initial 2 days, the figure tells that there is no significant impact of taxation policy in both the markets in the initial 2 days because of lack of clarity. After 2 days, there was slightly upward trend in the crypto market and slightly downward trend towards Nifty 50. After getting more clarity, there should be more impact. They should have an impact on both the markets as India has large number of crypto owners. So to conclude, our economic recovery is going to be K-shaped. There will be some sectors which will be overperforming, and there will be some sectors like hospitality which will still be struggling. So it'll be like a K-shaped economic recovery that's going to happen. And with stable policies, more and more foreign investors are getting attracted to the market. Strong support for electric mobility through planned incentives for EV infrastructure and EV ecosystem, electronic vehicle infrastructure. Latest country to join the rush to create state bank virtual currencies. Still an economic gamble. Government wants people to spend, but not interested in providing support to the demand side. Focus only on the supply side. Disinvestment is a big challenge. And government is assuming that we are going to have a normal year because of vaccinations. There is no scar to the economy due to COVID. People couldn't spend money due to restrictions relating to COVID. With country now opened up, that will increase the spending and consumer confidence. Increase in capex will lead to higher infrastructure outlay, boost for rural economy, supporting businesses and unlocking sunrise opportunities, thus enabling revival of the economy. With the introduction of taxation on VDA space, a new revenue source is getting opened up for spending, and with the introduction of digital currency, it is expected to boost the financial inclusion and the digital economy, thereby strengthening the overall financial system of our country. So with this, I'll conclude the presentation. Now, the floor is open for deliberations. Request our respected teachers and students to please interact and have an open forum discussion. And I'd like to thank all my colleagues, all our research scholars who have put in their efforts to make this thing a very fruitful one. Thank you.
Thank you
Yeah.
all. Now the
Yeah.
platform is open for discussions. Yes, sir. Please.
Yeah, you can, those who would like to take up some certain things for discussion here, I think that will be useful now. പ്രധാനമായിട്ടും നമ്മൾ ഫോക്കസ് ചെയ്തത് ഫ്രം ദെയർ പ്രസൻറ്റേഷൻ നമ്മൾ കണ്ടത് കാവ്യ സ്റ്റാർട്ടഡ് വിത്ത് അമൃത് കാൽ 25 years വിഷൻ. ഇന്ത്യയുടെ 75ാമത്തെ വാർഷികത്തിലാണ് നമ്മൾ നിൽക്കുന്നത്. 100ാം വാർഷികത്തേക്ക് ഗവൺമെന്റിനുള്ളൊരു പ്ലാൻ. പിന്നെ then we try to look at green bonds, disinvestment, then cryptocurrency, central bank digital currency, then virtual digital assets, blockchain technology. This is what actually was covered. അപ്പോൾ എനിക്ക് തോന്നുന്നത് അതിനകത്ത് കോൺസെപ്ച്വലി നമ്മൾ ഡീപ്പ് ലേണിംഗിലേക്ക് വരേണ്ട ചില കാര്യങ്ങൾ which came out from this budget or on which India started thinking. അതിലാണ് ഇപ്പോൾ ഇവിടെ ഇവരെ പ്രസന്റ് ചെയ്തിട്ടുള്ള കാര്യങ്ങളിൽ വെർച്വൽ ഡിജിറ്റൽ അസെറ്റ് ഇസ് എ ബിഗ് തിങ് ദറ്റ് ഇസ് നൗ വി ആർ ട്രൈങ് ടു കം ഇൻ ടു ഇറ്റ്. അതുപോലെ ഡിജിറ്റൽ കറൻസി, RBIയുടെ ഡിജിറ്റൽ കറൻസി, trying to taking steps to move into digital currency, cryptocurrency, fintech technology, blockchain technology. ഇതൊക്കെയാണ് ഇതിനകത്ത് വരുന്നത്. So these are things where and non-fungible tokens, which are all things which the world has started thinking in a big way. നമ്മൾ അതിനെപ്പറ്റി ചിന്തിച്ചു തുടങ്ങി. പക്ഷെ എനിക്ക് തോന്നുന്നു ജസ്റ്റ് ടു ട്രിഗർ യുവർ ഡിസ്കഷൻ, ഒരു പക്ഷേ നമ്മൾ വി ആർ നോട്ട് സീയിങ് ദിസ് ആസ് എ വെരി വെൽക്കം മൂവ് എന്ന് വേണം നമുക്ക് കരുതാൻ. ദാറ്റ്സ് വാട്ട് ഐ ഫീൽ. ഐ ഡോണ്ട് നോ വെദർ യു ഓൾ എഗ്രി വിത്ത് ഇറ്റ്. കാരണം നമ്മളതിൻ്റെ ടാക്സേഷൻ ആദ്യമായിട്ട് കൊണ്ടുവരുമ്പോൾ നമ്മൾ പറയുന്നത് അതിന് 30% ടാക്സേഷനാണ്. ക്യാരി ഫോർവേഡ് കിട്ടില്ല, ഡിഡക്ഷൻ അഡ്ജസ്റ്റ്മെന്റ് പറ്റില്ല. സോ ഇറ്റ്സ് നോട്ട് സീൻ ആസ് എ ഹെവൻ ഫോർ ദാറ്റ് കൈൻഡ് ഓഫ് എ തിങ്. കാരണം എന്ന് വെച്ചാൽ നമ്മൾ ഇത്രയും കോഷ്യസ് ആണ് ഇനീഷ്യലി. നമ്മൾ ഓൾ ലോങ് ടേം ക്യാപിറ്റൽ ഗെയിൻസിന് കൊടുക്കുന്നത് ഇവിടെ കൊടുക്കുന്നില്ല. ബട്ട് ദെൻ വി ആർ സേയിങ് ദാറ്റ് വിൽ ഹാവ് ടു തിങ്ക് അബൌട്ട് ഇറ്റ്. അപ്പോൾ ഈവൻ ഇൻ ടേംസ് ഓഫ് ക്രിപ്റ്റോ കറൻസി പോളിസീസ് റെഗുലേഷൻസ് ഫർദർ സ്ട്രെങ്തനേണ്ടി വേണം. ബട്ട് ഹോൾഡിംഗ് ഇറ്റ് ഫോർ നോൺ ഫംഗബിൾ we are accepting it in that form, but free transaction we are not accepting it in that form. അപ്പോൾ ഇതൊക്കെയാണ് ഇതിനകത്ത് ഒരു ഔട്ട്കം ആയിട്ട് വരുന്നത്. So I'll put my conclusions. Anybody who wants to raise something can ഇതിനകത്ത് അവതരിപ്പിച്ചതിൽ നിന്ന് if you want you can give some tips or certain things which you would like to take up, which you would like to get some inputs from the presenters.
Shall I say something?
Yes, yeah, can start.
So actually the topic was given to PhD scholars was the investment opportunities on Indian financial systems. I think the next coming presentation should centered around the topics. So the scholars, I think they have diverted the topics and they made some general discussions on which deviated from the topic. So, but the presentation was good. I think they have missed about the investment. I mean, the government investment. I mean, sovereign green bonds they have missed, and there is a great opportunity for the startup tax holidays that also missed. So that was comes under the part of investment opportunities. And they have said that LIC is already started IPO, but it's ongoing only. So that's all my comments.
On certain things left out, but investments, yeah, if you talk about virtual digital assets and all those technology based investments have come, but as Biju said, one part of it perhaps needs to be looked into.
Because the digital currency is a topic allotted for MPhil, so they have to talk more on digital currencies.
Okay. Yeah, anything else?
Actually, sir, ആക്ച്വലി ഗോപിക അത് കൺക്ലൂഡ് ചെയ്യുന്ന സമയത്ത് വളരെ വ്യക്തമായിട്ട് ഒരു കാര്യം പറഞ്ഞു. കാരണം ഈ ബജറ്റ് സ്പീച്ച് തന്നെ നമ്മളൊന്ന് ഒബ്സർവ് ചെയ്താൽ ഒരു 38 ടൈംസോളം ഡിജിറ്റൽ എന്ന് പറയുന്ന ഒരു കാര്യം ഇങ്ങനെ റിപ്പീറ്റ് ചെയ്ത് മെൻഷൻ ചെയ്ത് പോകുന്നതായിട്ടും അതിലൊരു എംഫസൈസ് ചെയ്തുകൊണ്ടാണ് നിങ്ങളുടെ പ്രസന്റേഷൻ നടത്തിയതും. പക്ഷേ ഗോപിക അത് വളരെ വ്യക്തമായിട്ട് പറഞ്ഞു. എപ്പോ എന്നുള്ളൊരു പ്രശ്നം ഇതിനകത്ത് ഈ പറയുന്ന ഈവൻ ഡിജിറ്റൽ കറൻസി ആയാലും ഈ ടാക്സേഷൻ ആയാലും ഒക്കെ അതിന്റെ ഒരു ഇംപ്ലിമെന്റേഷൻ സൈഡിൽ എപ്പോ എന്നുള്ളൊരു പ്രശ്നം നമ്മുടെ മുമ്പിൽ നിൽക്കുന്നുണ്ട്. ബിക്കോസ് when we talk about this inclusive development itself, that was actually not a new proposal. It was made in 2007-12, the 12th plan project itself. But when we look into that, നമുക്ക് കാണാൻ സാധിക്കുന്നത് we have not reached anywhere till now. And ഒരു 10 കോടിയിലധികം ആൾക്കാർ ഒരു എക്സ്ട്രീം പോവർട്ടിയിൽ ഇപ്പോഴും നിൽക്കുന്നതായിട്ടാണ് നമുക്ക് കാണാൻ കഴിയുന്നത്. ആൻഡ് സുനിത ഇപ്പോൾ കൺക്ലൂഡ് ചെയ്തപ്പോഴത്തേക്ക് പറഞ്ഞു ഒരു കെ മോഡൽ ഗ്രോത്ത് ആണ് നമ്മുടെ എക്കണോമിയിൽ സംഭവിക്കുന്നത് എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞു. ഇപ്പോൾ ഗീതാ ഗോപിനാഥ്, സാധാരണ ഗീതാ ഗോപിനാഥിനെ നമ്മൾ ഒബ്സർവ് ചെയ്യുന്നത് തന്നെ ഒരു പ്രോ കോർപ്പറേറ്റ് എക്കണോമിസ്റ്റ് ആയിട്ടാണ്. അവർ പോലും പക്ഷെ പറയുന്നു ഇന്ത്യക്ക് ഒരു കെ മോഡൽ ഗ്രോത്ത് എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് ഇറ്റ്സ് നോട്ട് ഗുഡ് എന്ന് പറയുന്നു. അങ്ങനെയാണെങ്കിൽ വാട്ട് ഈസ് യുവർ ഒബ്സർവേഷൻ? ഇത്തരത്തിലുള്ള കുറച്ച് കാര്യങ്ങൾ വെച്ചിട്ടാണെന്നുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ ഇത്തരം ഒരു ഗ്രോത്ത് നമ്മൾ ഉദ്ദേശിക്കുന്ന തരത്തിലുള്ള ഒരു നമ്മുടെ എക്കണോമിയിൽ ഒരു ബൂസ്റ്റ് ഉണ്ടാക്കുമോ? എന്താണ് നിങ്ങളുടെ ഒരു ഒബ്സർവേഷൻ?
Sir, it's me, Arun. Can you hear me?
Before that, I think Biju, Sunita, you want to respond to that on the K model growth? Sunita online on doc.
So it's actually a collective kind of a thing. So we have actually ഞാൻ വീഡിയോ ആണ് പ്രിപ്പയർ ചെയ്തത്. So Arun will conclude about that, sir.
Arun അതിനാണോ റെസ്പോണ്ട് ചെയ്തത്? Okay. Okay, Arun can say.
സർ, അതിനകത്ത് നമ്മുടെ ബിജു സാർ പറഞ്ഞ വളരെ വിലപ്പെട്ട പോയിന്റ് ആണ് പറഞ്ഞത്. ഇത് മാത്രമല്ല, ഇപ്പം നമ്മൾ സ്പെസിഫിക് ആയിട്ട് ഓരോ പോയിന്റിലേക്ക് പോവുകയാണെങ്കിൽ അത്രത്തോളം ഡെപ്ത് നമ്മുടെ ഈ ഒരു അനാലിസിസിനകത്തില്ല. നമ്മളെന്ത് ചെയ്തതെന്ന് വെച്ചാൽ ജനറലി എന്തൊക്കെ കാര്യങ്ങളാണ് നമ്മുടെ ബഡ്ജറ്റിനകത്ത് കൊണ്ടുവന്നത്, പുതിയ ഇന്നോവേഷൻസ് ആയിട്ടുള്ള കാര്യങ്ങൾ പറഞ്ഞു. അതുകൂടാതെ ഈ എക്കോണമി ഫേസ് ചെയ്യുന്ന ചലഞ്ചസിനെ അക്സെപ്റ്റ് ചെയ്യുന്നുണ്ടോ എന്നൊരു ചോദ്യമുണ്ട്. ഇപ്പോൾ കെ ഷേപ്ഡ് എക്കണോമിക് റിക്കവറി ആണെങ്കിലും അതുപോലെ തന്നെ അത്യാവശ്യം നമ്മൾ പല കാര്യങ്ങളും നോക്കിയാലും ഇവർ ഫാർമർ ഡിസ്ട്രസ്സും അഗ്രികൾച്ചറൽ ഇഷ്യൂസ് ഒന്നും വരെ അഡ്രസ് ചെയ്യുന്നുണ്ടോ എന്നുള്ളൊരു ചോദ്യമാണ്. അപ്പം നമ്മൾ അതിലേക്കൊന്നും ഡെപ്തിലേക്ക് പോകുന്നില്ലെങ്കിൽ പോലും ജനറലായിട്ട് പറയേണ്ട ചില കാര്യങ്ങളുണ്ട്. ഇപ്പോൾ ഡിസ്ഇൻവെസ്റ്റ്മെന്റ് ആണെങ്കിലും അത്യാവശ്യം മുൻപത്തെ ബഡ്ജറ്റിൽ പറഞ്ഞ ഒരു ഇമ്പോർട്ടൻസ് ഇത്തവണ കൊടുത്തിട്ടുണ്ടോ, അതൊരു ചോദ്യമാണ്. അതുകൂടാതെ ഈ ഒരു കൺസിസ്റ്റൻസി ഇതിനകത്ത് കൃത്യമായിട്ട് കൊണ്ടുവരും. ഇപ്പോൾ ഈ വർഷം ഒരു അനൗൺസ്മെന്റ് നടത്തി, അതിന് വേണ്ട എഫേർട്ട്, അതിന്റെ ഇംപ്ലിമെന്റേഷൻ ലെവൽ വരെ അത് പോകുന്നുണ്ടോ എന്നൊരു ചോദ്യം. അത് തീർച്ചയായിട്ടും നമ്മുടെ ഈ ഒരു ബഡ്ജറ്റ്, മോദി ഗവൺമെന്റ് ബഡ്ജറ്റ് കാണുമ്പോൾ തന്നെ അറിയാനായിട്ട് സാധിക്കുന്നുണ്ട്. ആ ഒരു ക്രിറ്റിസിസം കൂടിയാണ് നമ്മൾ ഇൻക്ലൂഡ് ചെയ്തത്. ഇത് കൂടാതെ ഈ ഒരു ബഡ്ജറ്റ് നമ്മുടെ റൈറ്റ് പാത്തിലാണ്, അല്ല നമ്മൾ പറയുന്നില്ല. അതായത് 25 years കഴിയുമ്പോൾ ഇന്ത്യ വിൽ ബി വൺ അമംഗ് ദ ലാർജസ്റ്റ് എക്കണോമീസ് ഇൻ ദ വേൾഡ്. ആ ഒരു ഐഡിയയിലേക്ക് തന്നെയാണ് ആര് പോകുന്നത്, ഈ പറയുന്ന ബഡ്ജറ്റും ലക്ഷ്യം വെക്കുന്നത്. ബട്ട് കോർപ്പറേറ്റൈസേഷൻ ഓഫ് ദ എക്കോണമി എന്ന് പറയുന്ന ഒരു ഐഡിയ കൂടി അവർ എന്ത് ചെയ്യുന്നുണ്ട്, ഇതിനോടൊപ്പം പ്രസന്റ് ചെയ്യുന്നുണ്ട്.
ഓക്കെ, അതവിടെ ഐ തിങ്ക് വാട്ട് ബിജു സാറോട് പറഞ്ഞത്, ഞാൻ ഐ സെഡ് ഇൻ ദ ബിഗിനിങ്, നമ്മുടെ എല്ലാ ബഡ്ജറ്റിലും ബഡ്ജറ്റ് ഇസ് ഓൺലി എ പോളിസി. ഞങ്ങൾ അടുത്ത ഒരു കൊല്ലം ഇങ്ങനെ ആവണം, അടുത്ത 25 കൊല്ലം ഇങ്ങനെ ആവണം, നമ്മൾ പറഞ്ഞ് കുറെ സാധനങ്ങൾ ഉണ്ടാക്കുന്നു, കുറെ പ്ലാൻസ് ഉണ്ടാക്കുന്നു. ബട്ട് ദ സക്സസ് ഡിപ്പെൻഡ്സ് അപ്പോൺ ഹൗ കറേജിയസ് ആൻഡ് ഹൗ വൈസ് യു ആർ ഇൻ ഇംപ്ലിമെന്റിങ് ഇറ്റ്. അപ്പോൾ ഡോക്യുമെന്റ് വന്നു എന്നുള്ളത് കൊണ്ട് വി ആർ സെയിങ് ഓക്കെ പ്ലാൻ ഇസ് ഗുഡ്, ബട്ട് ആം ഐ ആക്ച്വലി എക്സിക്യൂട്ടിങ് എ പ്ലാൻ? അപ്പോൾ നമ്മുടെ ഓരോ സംസ്ഥാനത്തേക്കും ഓരോ സ്ഥാപനങ്ങളിലേക്കും ഒക്കെയുള്ള ബഡ്ജറ്റ് നോക്കിയാൽ ഇതേ പ്രോബ്ലം ഉണ്ട്. ലൈക്ക് ദേ ഹാവ് ബിഗ് പ്ലാൻസ്, ബട്ട് ദെൻ how courageous and how wise you are in implementing it, അതൊരു faction ആണ് ഇവിടെ. That's why when Kavya ഇവിടെ പറഞ്ഞപ്പോൾ, when you're saying Amrit Kal for 25 years, it is involving lots of things. It involves political stability, it involves being in governance for that period. അപ്പോൾ അതെല്ലാം കൂടി ചേർത്ത് വെച്ചിട്ടാണ് we have to look at this. But ഈ ട്രാൻസിഷൻ ഫേസിൽ നമ്മൾ ചില കാര്യങ്ങളിൽ നിന്ന് നമുക്ക് മുഖം തിരിഞ്ഞ് നിൽക്കാൻ പറ്റില്ല. ലോകം മാറുന്നതനുസരിച്ച് വിൽ ഹാവ് ടു മൂവ് എന്നുള്ളതിന്റെ ചില ഇൻഡിക്കേഷൻസ് ആർ പോസിറ്റീവ് സൈൻസ്. അതുകൊണ്ട് നമുക്ക് DVA, ഡിജിറ്റൽ ബേസ്ഡ് കറൻസീസും അതുപോലെ അസറ്റ്സും ക്രിപ്റ്റോ ഒക്കെ നമ്മൾ ആ ഒരു സെൻസിലുള്ള ഒരു ട്രാൻസാക്ഷനാണ് നമ്മൾ കാണുന്നത്. ദാറ്റ്സ് വാട്ട് ഐ അണ്ടർസ്റ്റാൻഡ് ഫ്രം ദാറ്റ്. ഓക്കെ, so
even this digital thing is not a new thing actually, because the second budget of the Modi government itself insisted on the first Modi government, second budget of the first Modi government itself insisted on digital India, and they have proposed a lot of projects and programs under Digital India scheme, and we can find that even now that was not reached anywhere.
അല്ല, അത് there when we said digital India, അവിടെ കൂടുതൽ emphasis was on direct benefit transfer, ജൻധൻ അക്കൗണ്ട്, അങ്ങനെയുള്ള ഒരു സാധനത്തിനായിരുന്നു. ബട്ട് നൗ ദേ ആർ ഷോയിങ് സം കൈൻഡ് ഓഫ് ഇൻക്ലിനേഷൻ ഓർ മൂവ്മെന്റ് ഇൻ ടു ക്രിപ്റ്റോസ്, അതുപോലെ അങ്ങനെ ഒരു മെത്തഡോളജിയിൽ ഒരു ചെറിയ ചേഞ്ച് ഷിഫ്റ്റ് വന്നിട്ടുണ്ട്.
പക്ഷെ ആ പ്രോജക്റ്റ് തന്നെയും പൂർണ്ണമായിട്ട് ഇംപ്ലിമെന്റ് ചെയ്യാൻ കഴിയുന്നില്ല.
That is true. That is there in all. നമ്മൾ ചില എല്ലാ ബജറ്റും നോക്കുമ്പോൾ that is the way we have to see implementation. ശരിക്കും പറഞ്ഞാൽ ഈ ബജറ്റിന് തന്നെ I think some of you might be നമുക്ക് we also have a budget implementation committee, and നമ്മൾ ഒരു ഇയർ കഴിയുമ്പോൾ nobody looks back into how much of this has been executed. ഇപ്പൊ നമ്മളിപ്പോൾ 1ാം തീയതി ഫെബ്രുവരി പോളിസി ഡോക്യുമെന്റ് നോക്കും, 23 ഫെബ്രുവരി 1 21 പറഞ്ഞതിന്റെ we don't rework on that. അപ്പോൾ that is one issue where the gaps are not fully looked into, and then again we come up with a new plan. That does happen, which is പറഞ്ഞത് ശരിയാണ്. So yeah, anything else? പറഞ്ഞു
സാറ്, ഇപ്പൊ നമ്മൾ ഈ പറഞ്ഞു നിർത്തിയ ചോദ്യത്തിൽ നിന്ന് ബിജു സാറ് പറഞ്ഞ ആ ഒരു സംശയത്തിലേക്ക് എത്താം. അതായത് ഗോപിക പറഞ്ഞു നിർത്തിയ വെൻ എന്നൊരു ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ മാർക്ക് ഇതിൽ ഇൻവെസ്റ്റ്മെന്റുമായി ബന്ധപ്പെട്ടതായാലും ബാക്കിയുള്ള എല്ലാ കാര്യത്തിലും വെൻ എന്നൊരു ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ മാർക്ക് നിൽപ്പുണ്ട്. പക്ഷേ ആ ഒരു ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ മാർക്ക് ഇല്ലാത്തതും ഫിനാൻഷ്യൽ സിസ്റ്റത്തിൽ നല്ലൊരു ഇമ്പാക്ട് ഉണ്ടാക്കാൻ പോകുന്നതുമായിട്ടുള്ള ഒരു ഇംപ്ലിമെന്റേഷൻ ആണ് BDA ടാക്സേഷൻ. April 1 മുതൽ ക്ലിയർ ആയിട്ട് അതിലുണ്ട്. അതുപോലെ തന്നെ നമുക്ക് തന്നിരിക്കുന്ന ടോപ്പിക് ഇൻവെസ്റ്റ്മെന്റ് ഓപ്പർച്യൂണിറ്റീസ് ആൻഡ് ഫിനാൻഷ്യൽ സിസ്റ്റം ആണ്. അപ്പൊ ഫിനാൻഷ്യൽ സിസ്റ്റത്തിൽ ഇൻഫ്ലുവൻസ് ഉണ്ടാക്കാൻ പോകുന്ന നൂതനമായിട്ടുള്ള കുറച്ച് കാര്യങ്ങൾ മാത്രമേ നമ്മൾ ഇൻക്ലൂഡ് ചെയ്തിട്ടുള്ളൂ. ക്രിപ്റ്റോ കറൻസി അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഡിജിറ്റൽ കറൻസി വേറെ ഉള്ളവരുടെ ടോപ്പിക് ആയിരിക്കാം. പക്ഷെ നമ്മൾ എങ്ങനെ ഇത് ഫിനാൻഷ്യൽ സിസ്റ്റത്തിൽ ഇൻഫ്ലുവൻസ് ചെയ്യുന്നു എന്ന് വ്യക്തമായിട്ട് അതിൽ കൊടുത്തിട്ടുണ്ട്. പിന്നെ അത് മാത്രമല്ല, ഈ ഒരു ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ വെൻ ഇപ്പൊ ക്യാപെക്സിൽ ഇൻക്രീസ് പ്ലാനാണ്, ബാക്കിയുള്ള പല കാര്യങ്ങളും പ്ലാനാണ്. പക്ഷേ വിർച്വൽ ഡിജിറ്റൽ അസറ്റിന്റെ ടാക്സേഷന് കൃത്യമായി ഡേറ്റ് പറഞ്ഞിട്ടുണ്ട്, കൃത്യമായ റേറ്റ് പറഞ്ഞിട്ടുണ്ട്. അതുപോലെ തന്നെ ഇംപ്ലിമെന്റേഷൻ ഓഫ് ഡിജിറ്റൽ കറൻസി, അതും ഫിനാൻഷ്യൽ സിസ്റ്റത്തിൽ വലിയൊരു ഇൻഫ്ലുവൻസ് വരുത്തുന്ന ഫാക്ടറാണ്. അതുകൊണ്ടാണ് നമ്മൾ ഈ ടോപ്പിക്ക് ചൂസ് ചെയ്തത്. താങ്ക് യു സർ.
Thank you. So I think we can, if that's it, we can go to the next one. Pooja, you can carry on.
Okay, sir.